Knockin' on Heaven's Door is a song written and sung by Bob Dylan, for the soundtrack of the 1973 film Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid. Released as a single, it reached number 12 on the Billboard Hot 100 singles chart. Described by Dylan biographer Clinton Heylin as an exercise in splendid simplicity, the song, measured simply in terms of the number of other artists who have covered it, is one of Dylan's most popular post-1960s compositions. Members of the Western Writers of America chose it as one of the top 100 Western songs of all time. Storyline and song structure: the song describes the collapse of a deputy sheriff. Dying from a bullet wound, he tells his wife, "Mama, take this badge off of me. I can't use it anymore." The song consists of 4 chords in the key of G major, G, D, Am7, and C. The basic pattern throughout the song is G-D Am7 Am7 and then G-D-C-C, and this is repeated. Over the years, Dylan has changed the lyrics, as have others who have performed this song. Cover versions. Sandy Denny Sandy Denny performed Knockin' on Heaven's Door with Fairport Convention in February 1974 at the LA Troubadour, Los Angeles, only about 7 months after the release of Dylan's record. 2 different recordings were later released, one in the Who Knows Where the Time Goes box set, and the other on the bonus CD of the anthology A Box Full of Treasures. The Alarm regularly played the song at concerts. When The Alarm toured with Dylan, the group joined him on stage to perform the song. Cold Chisel performed the song as part of their Youth in Asia tour of Australia in 1980. A version recorded during this tour appears on the band's live album Swing Shift. Eric Clapton recorded a reggae-influenced version of the song produced by Albhy Galootin in August 1975 and released it as a single later that year, almost 2 years after Dylan's original track was released and using Arthur Louis' arrangement. Clapton's single featured Someone Like You as the B-side, previously recorded with Louis. Clapton's 1996 boxed set Crossroads 2, Live in the 70s features a performance recorded in London in April 1977. The song was also resurrected for the Journeyman and One More Car, One More Rider World Tours in 1990 and 2003. Additionally, the song has been included on several Clapton compilation albums, such as Timepieces, The Best of Eric Clapton, Backtrackin', The Cream of Clapton and Complete Clapton. Chart performance. Randy Crawford Randy Crawford recorded a version of this song in 1989, featuring Eric Clapton and David Sanborn. Wyclef Jean recorded a version of the song, which was used in the documentary Ghosts of Sita copyright Soleil, by director Az Jaleth. In 2007, Babyface released his 11th album Playlist which included a cover of this song. In 2007 Anthony and the Johnsons released a rendition of this song that was included on the Bob Dylan cover album I'm Not There, which served as the soundtrack for the film of the same name. The Grateful Dead An acoustic performance was played by the Grateful Dead live at Rambler Room, Loyola College on November 17, 1978. The song was performed by Bob Dylan and the Grateful Dead, during a joint tour in July 1987. Between August 1987 and July 1994 the Grateful Dead often closed their shows with a performance of this song. On July 7, 1989, the Dead used the song as an encore at John F. Kennedy Stadium and it was to be the swan song for the stadium, which was condemned 6 days later. Guns N' Roses In 1987, Guns N' Roses started including the song in their live sets. A live version of the track was initially released on the Maxi single of Welcome to the Jungle the same year. They recorded a studio version in 1990 for the Days of Thunder soundtrack, which was later slightly modified for the 1991 album Use Your Illusion 2. Released as the 4th single from the album, it reached number 2 on the UK singles chart as well as number 12 in Australia and number 1 in Ireland. Their performance of the song at the Freddie Mercury tribute concert in 1992 was used as the B-side for the single release and was also included on their Live Era, 87 '93 album, released in 1999. Vlidoxlin Oakslin released his live version on his CD Pickapolonica in 1996. It was performed by Bettina Carbander. Avril Lavigne Avril Lavigne performed the song on radio-sponsored multi-artist appearances, which took place on January 23, 2003 and ended on June 4, 2003. A music video was made with her performance. Later on she included the song during her Try to Shut Me Up tour. She first released her cover version on the bonus CD of her My World video release in 2003, as one of the B-sides from her single Nobody's Home, and afterwards as a Japanese bonus track for her 2011 album Goodbye Lullaby. Arthur Louis recorded a version of the song in a reggae crossover style. Louis' arrangement was released as a single in July 1975, a week before Eric Clapton released his own interpretation of Louis' arrangement of the same song. Larry Norman released his cover on December 31, 2004 as the third track of his Sessions album. With the exception of the chorus line, the song has completely original lyrics. Per Norman's recording label, Larry made a CD called Sessions solely for folks who contribute to Compassion International through us. It is an unregistered trademark T for sale anywhere, and we make no profit from it. The CD includes previously unreleased sessions by Larry, Randy Stonehill, Tom Howard, Daniel Amos and other solid rock artists. Zar Copyright Ramolo The Brazilian singer Zar Copyright Ramolo released a Portuguese version of Dylan's song called Batendo na Porta do Car Copyright U in his 1997 album Antologia Acústica. Warren Zevon In 2003, Warren Zevon released a version of the song on his album The Wind, shortly before his death from cancer in September of that year. An all-star cast sang it as part of a tribute to Zevon on the 2004 Grammy Awards broadcast. U2 In August 2010, at U2's first performance in Russia, Bono invited rocker Yuri Shevchuk to join him on the stage for a spontaneous duet. During the performance Shevchuk performed a Russian version of the first part of the song. U2 and Shevchuk were helping draw attention to the Khimki forest issue, over which many environmental activists and journalists have been arrested, injured, and killed. The activists are trying to stop the construction of a roadway through a protected old-growth forest by allegedly corrupt politicians. Ray Dorset Mungo Jerry founder Ray Dorset released a Caribbean version of the song. RAIGN Knockin' on Heaven's Door by RAIGN was featured in Season 2 finale of The 100. Charitable version. Dunblane Tribute In 1996 and with the consent of Bob Dylan, Scottish musician Ted Christopher wrote a new verse for Knockin' on Heaven's Door in memory of the schoolchildren and teacher killed in the Dunblane school massacre. This has been, according to some sources, one of the few times Dylan has officially authorized anybody to add or change the lyrics to one of his songs. This version of the song, including children from the village singing the chorus with guitarist and producer of Dylan's album Infidels, Mark Knopfler, was released on December 9 in the UK and reached number 1 in the UK singles chart. The proceeds went to charities for children. The song was featured on the compilation album Hits 97, where all royalties from the song were given to 3 separate charities. Sampled version, Gabrielle's single Rise sampled from this song. In the same year the DJ TNT sampled the Arthur Louis version of this song. Soundtrack inclusions. Pop culture. There have been many artists who haven't done a cover version in an album but performed the song live. Particularly popular covers include Phil Collins, Bruce Springsteen, and John Bon Jovi. Cowboy Bebop. The movie is titled after the song and features a character, Vincent, who is based on Bob Dylan. Following the September 11 attacks, this song was included in the list of post-9/11 songs deemed inappropriate from Clear Channel, and was the only Bob Dylan song on the list. Used in the 6 Feet Under Season 5 episode All Alone at Nate's Funeral. References. External links. Arthur Louis Reggae Blues crossover cover version of Knockin' on Heaven's Door YouTube.com. Avril Lavigne cover of Knockin' on Heaven's Door YouTube.com. A list of cover versions of Knockin' on Heaven's Door Bjornow.com. Bob Dylan's lyrics for Knockin' on Heaven's Door BobDylan.com.